Good evening and welcome to episode 70 of the Loaded Dice podcast. Tonight, my name is Andrew. Actually, my name is Andrew most nights, depending. Sometimes Tuesdays I take a day off, but other than that. And I've got with me...
Sorry, you've got with you Doug. I promise is awake and didn't just micro-sleep through your entire introduction. But I'm here, I'm awake.
It's probably a better thing to do than actually listen to my introduction, because I fucked that completely. If
Right.
we were a professional podcast, I'd actually delete that, would do it again.
But
we're not.
Have to edit.
Yeah, it's also 11:30 at night, and this is completely impromptu.
Yes.
We're waiting on one more, which is Kansas Dave, who about 40 minutes ago sent me a message saying that he was going for coffee and he'd be back in about 10 minutes. So all I can gather is he's been sucked up by a tornado and is currently somewhere in the land of Oz.
Yep.
Only thing that could have possibly happened to him. So he's going to jump in and join us when he reappears, maybe wearing some really cool ruby shoes. But other than that, what we're here to talk about is Warhammer Fest.
Yeah, because that's a thing that's happening, which I was totally aware of until it started. No, I knew that was coming, and I was super excited for everything, I promise.
See, this is, I want to say on the top of the show, and this is something I think I've said before, but if you don't follow Garrow on Facebook, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go and find Garrow, as in Nathaniel Garrow, right? He's a guy over in England. He goes to all the events. I don't get the feeling he has any sort of
life. No, sorry.
Any sort of extra line. It's not like he's getting rumors and tidbits, but he's always at the events, and he basically is he obviously has a very good internet connection on his phone, because he will just take photos and upload them immediately, and he's always first in line or second in line. So he's a really great person to follow. He's got about 5,500 followers, but he's been doing I think sort of last 3, maybe 4 years or thereabouts. He's been hitting all the events up all over Europe, and he sort of puts the previews up immediately. So if you're anybody that's actually asked me in the last hour or so about whether I'm in England at the moment for Warhammer Fest, I'm not. I'm currently sitting on my couch at 11:30 at night in Sydney, Australia. I'm just generally grabbing stuff from Garrow. Now, the reason I actually take stuff from Garrow and put it onto our Facebook page is that Facebook's algorithms, when you share posts, the reach on it is so much smaller. So, I generally like to give Garrett credit, and I think I have shared one of his, just a full post of his this evening because it was faster to do. But generally, you're better off pulling the photos down and then re-uploading all the photos. Facebook just prefers you doing that as opposed to sharing other people's posts. But definitely, if you haven't liked his page, go and like Garrow's page.
Yeah.
And then you can get everything, and also favorite it. Do the little gold star thing on it, so he always pops up at the top of your thing. Yeah. And then whenever there's an event on or that sort of stuff, you'll just be getting the updates sort of immediately, like we do. There's no black magic to it. There's no sort of money under the table or anything. It's just literally knowing the right people to follow on Facebook or whatever. I think he's on Twitter, but I don't have Twitter. I don't tweet.
Yeah. Neither do
but
I
think
really.
I think he could be at Garrow30k. That seems to pop up on his Facebook page, and he does have an Instagram, but it's really just resharing the Facebook stuff. So it's probably the best place to go. He obviously also sits through all the seminars, and you generally get a bit of a blurb on stuff at the same time. So no, big shout out to Garrow. If I ever bump into you, mate, I will owe you a beer.
Nice.
So, Warhammer Fest. Where do we want to start with this?
Yeah. Do we want to? I was thinking about this, right? So if you're playing along at home, Warhammer community have an article or a live blog that they're updating with stuff. Did we want to start just from the bottom and work our way up, because that's kind of how the timeline goes?
I think that's probably a really good idea. Let's do that.
Because then we finish on all of the Horus Heresy stuff, which, talking about it just before we went live, we're such big fans of.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. So
We'll get there.
we'll jump at the blog, and then obviously they've shown more stuff than what is in the blog,
Yeah.
so we can sort of jump backwards and forwards between a little bit. But yeah, I think the
Yep.
blog's a good place to go.
Did you see on the independent characters, one of the guys was sitting in line for Warhammer Fest?
Was that the guy that was still outside an hour and a half into the day when all the seminars had started?
That's the one.
Yeah,
Did you see
yeah, that's
why he
pretty
was
bad.
still outside?
Something to do with they hadn't packed the loot bags
Yeah.
or something.
You're packing your own swag bag to get in.
Yeah, that's
It's an
well, you know.
interesting method. Works, I guess, but yeah.
Look, I think one of the things, and look, I've never been to a Warhammer Fest, and like they are massive, but as much as they're this massive publicly traded company, you still occasionally get the feeling it's fucking amateur hour. Like,
Yes.
oh, and I love them, and it definitely gives like it just makes you go, oh, Games Workshop. Like they're not giant flaws; they're just character, I guess. But it's the same as when they tried to go to Adepticon a few years ago. And
Oh
they sent the team. They
yeah.
sent the team of guys, which I think at the time, I think this was just as AOS was kicking off,
Yep.
and they sent their AOS crack team to Adepticon to sort of spread the word about this new game system. And they turned up at they they turned up at JFK Airport, New York, and they went, "Oh, what? Why are you? What's the purpose of your business of your visit?" And they went, "Well, we're working at this convention, and apparently the Homeland Security guys looked at their visas and went." But these are all holiday visas. You're not entitled to work. Please hop back on the plane and fuck off back to England. And they'd completely missed the event.
Oops.
And apparently they had to, they started shutting down like stores all around like New York and places like that to try and get staff to go to fly off to like Chicago and things like that to go to Adepticon. Um, in an attempt to do something. And then all these blokes sort of turned up and they'd shut their stores. They turned up and they're like, oh, so cool. So what's going on from Games Workshop? And they're like, we've got no fucking idea. We're, we're kind of like the shoe-ins. And it was just an absolute shit fight. And obviously, like, as long as, I think Adepticon's like 4 or 5 days, but that's still not enough time to, fly back across the pond, organize business visas and come back.
Yeah, no, that's right.
So you just occasionally go, like, come on, somebody should have checked this shit. Like,
You would think.
Yeah. So, apparently swag bags. Fun.
Yes.
Did they say anything about what you were getting in the swag bags, by the way?
No, which is odd. Well, I guess not odd, but
Well, usually somebody's put it on eBay and tried to scalp it by now, right?
yeah, maybe. I haven't checked, to be honest. I do notice with some wry amusement looking at the live blog that they had enough time to set up all the Funko Pops.
Yes.
Just not quite enough time to pack all the loot bags.
Mm. You have to wonder why the guy stacking the Funko Pops needs a high-vis vest.
That'll be some internal policy.
Are they worried that he's going to get buried under under a crate of bobbleheads and they're not going to find him? Oh, God.
It's a distinct possibility.
No. Look, that's all well and good. So, I'm not even sure where is it. Where is the Ryko Arena?
In the UK somewhere.
I'm guessing it's somewhere in the UK. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, everything's in English, so I'm guessing it's the UK. It's not because I think they ran one in Germany last year, didn't they?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's in Coventry.
Coventry. Oh, there you go.
Yep.
So all good, and apparently there's a casino in it.
Yes.
According to the
32,000 people. So there you go.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
nice. So far, if we sort of scroll up the live blog here, we've had the 40K seminar, we've had the Horus Heresy seminar, and from what I can tell, is the Titanicus, Necromunda, and Blood Bowl ones kind of been done as well. So the next one, which will probably come through before the end of this episode, should be the Sigma one.
Yes.
And then apparently there's second Horus Heresy one tomorrow.
Yeah, man, because there's so much heresy stuff going on that we just have to have to do. It's probably the next book. I would imagine.
Yeah. That's probably it.
Or fingers crossed, it's the announcement that they're finally wrapping up the Horus Heresy stuff
and moving it to 9th.
Well, I mean, or at least just moving into giving us like more Badab War stuff, or like updating Siege of Vrax to 8th, or something. Something. Yeah. Stop doing heresy. Give me some other cool stuff, please.
I hear Star Wars Legion's really good, Doug.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but Forge World's not going to do Star Wars Legion for me. Maybe Fantasy Flight would do Badab.
Look, the way Forge World occasionally, obviously works, and some of the stuff they put out, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden we get some like, it'll be like a 32 mil like Darth Vader, and they'll just drop it one day and be like, "Here we go. This is what we've got for you this Friday," and it'll just be like, doesn't make any fucking sense, but here's my wallet.
Well, apparently that's what Bandai's for now, right?
Yeah.
That big, what is it, 7-inch tall Primaris Marine?
Yeah, so what did you think about that? If anybody hasn't seen this, it's the so Bandai, which is like a Japanese scale model company that does like historical models, and I think they do a lot of like Gundams and anime stuff.
They're big on the anime side of things.
Has been licensed to do like a is it an action figure or is it just a posable model? What's the technical?
I was going to say, I'd imagine it's probably going to come out like the Gundams and like the Avas and stuff that you can get from them at the moment, where it's posable, but you're still kind of building it.
Yeah. Okay. So, and it's a Primaris Marine in Mark 10.
Yeah.
Armor.
Yep.
I'll
probably get one.
It's odd though, right? Like, am I the only person who's seeing the irony in a model of a model?
It's kind of what Bandai does, though. They love doing those kind of 7-inch tall, like effectively mecha suit type things.
Yeah.
I'll put it down to a fine art.
I've got an entire closet full of like Star Wars, Bandai Star Wars models and stuff I've never built, but they're all really cool apparently. But it just seems odd that they're doing like there's already models of Primaris Marines.
Yeah, but they do models of cartoons as like their basic trade. So
yeah, I guess
kits is probably a step up. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I'd
imagine it'll sell well in Japan.
Well, you see, this is what I was thinking. Is I imagine that they must have some sort of insane like long play going on in Japan at the moment between all the Primaris lieutenants in blind boxes and everything else. And did you see that they're bringing out the next Space Marine Heroes is going to be Death Guard?
Yeah, I did.
And they've got some really cool Death Guard stuff. And I know you love Death Guard. So
on the upside, at least it's finally a Space Marine Heroes set I don't have to buy. So I'll be happy with that at least.
Yeah, actually, the thing
finally paint up the Terminators and not have to immediately buy the next set.
See, the thing I actually thought about them was that I was looking at them and I'm like, oh yeah, these are really cool. Like, I'm not overly sold on Death Guard in 40k. Like some of it I love, some of it I can sort of leave.
Yeah.
But they're a lot more serious.
Yes.
Like the sculpts are so much more serious than because they're all just alternate sculpts of other things we've got. So it's like another Plague Mage guy, and I think there was another Terminator Blight Lord or something like that.
It's the guy with the corrosion cannon or whatever it is. So he's like got the toxin spewer cannon. So he's just in power armor, but he's got the funky goop gun and a malignant plague caster. The plague caster I actually really like.
Yeah, well, no, that was the one because I really hate the one that came in fucking Dark Imperium. Yeah. Like he was just that weird sort of like, baby on steroids and plague and just didn't. I don't know. There was just something about it. Like I think a lot of the Death Guard stuff got a bad rap because they went with a super cartoony color scheme from the studio. And I think obviously it's been out for a couple of years now, and you see it with better paint jobs, like darker, grittier paint jobs, and the stuff looks fucking amazing. But even so, I think like that was just a model that I like always looked at and went, oh, it's just shit. The pose was shit. The idea behind it was shit. It's like that sloppity bile piper. Like there's just a few. Some of the Nurgle stuff I just can't forgive in 40k. Age of Sigmar, I'm all over it, right? Age of Sigmar, I love the aesthetic they've gone with for Nurgle. I love the bloke on the snail and stuff. I just don't like it in 40k.
Yep, no, that makes sense.
So
whereas this playcast is really nice. So instead of the baby face, he's got the kind of the chainmail veil underneath the hood, which looks really cool. He's got maggots spewing out of him basically everywhere. So if you like Nurgle, I think he's a really good pick. I'm still not sure I particularly like him, but I like him a hell of a lot more than the old baby-faced one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I really love about him, actually. I love the little like fly wing extensions on his backpack.
Oh, I didn't even notice those ones.
So he's got like where the bottom vents would be, the tiny little bottom vents that you normally get on a backpack. They're kind of extended out into like, probably not fly wings, but like locust wings.
Oh, nice.
Looks really, really cool. I like him. Yeah, the bile guy looks nice too. He's leaking from every orifice. There's a Nurgling collecting all the goop. So, you know.
Yeah.
Cool if you like Nurgle.
Yeah, that's it. It's more options, and I imagine you'll be able to find them on eBay and places like that if you're not in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no,
I still think Series 1 was their best series. I don't know though.
I just have such a soft spot for like special Blood Angel Terminators.
Yeah. That's fair. But if you want that, get the Space Hulk set.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Is like I've got a Space Hulk set, and I was like, oh, I can have 2 units of Terminators I'd never use in a Blood Angel army. Fantastic, but they look great.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, I've got them all because I'm a completionist, and they're pretty.
Yes.
But I still think Series 1 was the real winner on that set.
Yeah.
Just a really cool collection of Marines, and the captain was nice, and yeah.
Oh, they had a huge amount of character, and I think the other thing was because we'd never seen anything like it before, that it was kind of like, ooh, these are
that's
really
true too.
Nice.
Yep.
And then I guess we can't move on without talking about the big-headed chibi. Chibi is it the right word? I think that's right.
Yeah. The chibi
characters.
Yeah.
So we've got an Avesta assassin, the Qatari with an arc gun, the Crimson Fist anniversary marine, a sister of battle, and a female witch hunter inquisitor sort of person.
Yep.
Personally, I don't see there's any redeeming anything about any of this shit, and just fuck it off out my game, please. Just fuck off.
A big part of me wants to run the chibi Marines in a heresy list.
But these guys aren't 28 mil.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
No way these are 28 mil. These are going to be like some weird whacked out of fucking. I don't know. Like they look like they're probably like 3 or 4 inches tall.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Still.
Nah, there's nothing I like about this.
That's fair. Although I am looking forward to, hopefully, I doubt it will be me first, but I'm really keen to see the first Primaris Knight list, because all the Bandai action figures are 7 inches tall.
Yeah.
I am so keen for that.
like the Bandai Primaris Marine is cool.
Yes.
I don't understand it, but it's cool.
Yep.
It makes me feel a bit weird, but it's cool. The chibi stuff just like, fuck me. I just...
Yes. Yeah, no, I get it. It's very anime.
Why did we need it? Why did we need it? We're getting we've got Funko Pops, right? And I get Funko Pops. I don't like them myself, but I understand like it's its own hobby. And there's so much, like, there's like Bob Ross Funko Pops, right?
Yes, correct.
And so it's like, there's Funko Pops of a lot of stuff. Like you can get like Fallout Funko Pops. So I kind of get the ability to get a couple of Space Marines or whatever is really cool. Like actually, you know what I'd love to see as a Funko Pop, because I think it would work so well. It's like a Gene Stealer or like a Gene Stealer Patriarch.
Yes, that would be
Like
cool.
that would be a really cool, and like I think they're super iconic because obviously like Space Hulk, and
Yep.
there's the original board game and the video game, so it's got like a
Yep.
lot of mass appeal up there with like a Space Marine.
Mm.
So I think that'd be really cool. But I just don't get, like, you're doing that. Why are we doing chibi Marines?
I think it's part of the like 5-year plan to hit Japan hard.
Japan, right? So the next thing they're going to have is Space Marine love pillows. You've heard it here first.
Surely there's got to be at least one Sister of Battle body pillow out there already, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
that's
no. Somebody's Sharpie drawn that shit onto a pillow already.
Mm-hmm.
But
Or like Demonette one or something.
Plastic Thunderhawk love pillow. Spiky bits explodes.
Yes, but that's the thing, right? Like you'll hit Japan and you'll sell the chibi stuff pretty heavily, but then you've got enough weeboos out in the Western world that will pick them up and pay a premium for them that I think they'll probably sell pretty well.
Oh, 100%. They're just about to make a bunch of like Japanese guys a lot of money shipping that stuff all over the place.
Yep.
Yeah. So okay, so I think that's everything sort of like pre Warhammer Fest.
Interesting. The chibis are available at Warhammer Fest.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, not only maybe not available, but not only will we have them at Warhammer Fest, but they'll also be on display at the stand at the hobby show that they've got going in Japan. So maybe they're just on display, but
yeah, actually, that's a good point. There is currently a hobby show going on in Japan as well.
Yes,
it's probably closed for the day, considering I think they're only about an hour behind us. It's like midnight here, so it gives you a bit of an idea. But on to the next sort of stuff. So we now know what the Mechanicum transport is.
Yeah,
look at this photo. That's like the outline photo. But what's the thing in front of it?
Part of me wants to think that it's something Sylvaneth.
So you think it's Sylvaneth? Okay.
It's a lot of. It might be Slaanesh.
Yeah. So there used to be a Slaanesh demon prince called Cilia or Silax or hang on,
Let me look. You talk while I Google. Or we can both be quiet and Google. It doesn't really matter.
Talk among yourselves and listen to keyboards for 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, I like, for some reason, the moment I saw like that scorpion tail off the bottom, I was like, "Ooh, I've seen that before," and I'm sure that demon prince had that. And just, I don't know, it doesn't look Sylvaneth to me.
Yeah,
it looks more tentacles and writhing bits.
Yeah. If it's anything, I suspect it will be Age of Sigmar.
Yes.
So I think it's probably a Hedonites of Slaanesh thing.
That's what I was imagining. Was it is going to be it's Slaanesh some description.
Either that, or interestingly, it could be Middle Earth.
Oh, okay. What could it be from Lord of the Rings?
Like some kind of Umber or Harrod dickhead
monster thing
who likes snakes.
Guy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll buy that.
But I suspect it's probably going to be either Slaaneshi or possibly on an outside run, like something for Ruinstorm in that second Horus Heresy.
Oh, reveal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it could be a demon. It could be a demon, the Ruinstorm. That's a very good point.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Well, it doesn't matter, right? In 10 minutes, we'll know if it's AOS or not.
That's actually very true. We will know very soon.
So we can probably push past this and up into the next bit.
All right.
There's not a whole lot to say about. Like the next one's just a photo of some books and swag. Maybe that's a swag bag you've got to pack for yourself.
Yeah,
like it might be actually.
This is the whole of Forge World catalogs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Forge World catalog DLC for it's the upgrade to the Omnissiah edition for Mechanicus. So they're clearly still trying to get rid of those. Pack of Conquest cards by the looks of things. Attack of the Necron. Just quietly, there's a Gene Stealer book for Warhammer Adventures out already, and I very nearly bought it.
Ooh.
because I was like, it's going to have Gene Stealer lore in there, and it's going to be canon, and I'm going to have to know it.
That's it. At some point, somebody's going to ask you the question, and you're just not going to know unless you read that book.
And it's going to bug me not knowing.
All right, so the next one up is kind of interesting. It's something that's actually great having you here this evening to be able to talk to about it. And this is the Citadel contrast colors. So I actually think this is possibly the biggest thing from Warhammer Fest, because they've been teasing this stuff since whatever the last event was that they did.
Yeah, they've been hyping it for a while.
Which was one of the weekenders, and it was, sort of things that, like people were imagining they were going to bring out an airbrush and they were going to do this and they're going to do that, because it was all about, do you have grey painted models and let's get them all painted.
Yeah.
And all this sort of stuff. And so basically what they've done is they've been listening to our show and you talking about wash painting. And then they've stolen our ideas without paying us any sort of royalties and developed this stuff.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen it yet, guys, what this is a new type of Citadel paint. So like we have layer paints and shade paints and technical paints, we now have what are called contrast paints. And it seems like it's an incredibly large range of paints straight off the bat as well. I was looking at them in the cabinet photo that's floating around on Garrow's page.
Yeah, I was looking at them too.
And there'd be 30 different colors, I think.
Yeah.
25 to 30. I don't think they actually say here.
The scuttlebutt is that it's a decent block of their layer range.
Yes.
That's been just turned into glazes.
Yeah. So it seems to be that they're very pigment heavy washes.
Yes.
Is the best way to describe it.
Yep.
And from looking at the sort of like the finished product of things, because I've got like a whole case of Space Marines that are painted up in all sorts of different things. But then they also have an entire case full of stuff. Like there's a great picture of, and Garrow's got, these are Garrow's photos. There's a bunch of Elder Wraithguard.
Yeah.
That are painted in the blue, which is called,
there's a few blues.
Aethermatic blue, which is kind of like quite a bright blue, which looks really nice.
Yep.
There's some Mangler squigs that they've done in the reds and the pinks and the greens, which looks absolutely fantastic. If the coverage on it, and apparently when you go and look at these, they promise it's one coat. They're joking and saying, hey, it's one thick coat, right? But apparently this is one coat, and I think you'd be able to drop some knowledge here. How many coats of wash do you need to do to wash paint stuff?
Honestly, with the current washes, one thick coat would more or less give you what they've got.
So if you're looking at the Mangler squigs.
Yeah, I'm just flicking through the... there's the Mangler squigs. Okay, so the Mangler squigs are probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Depending on the base coat.
So if they're getting that off one coat...
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I'm looking at some of the other ones, right? Like the Dankhold Troggoth and the Wraithguard. With the same color in a wash, I reckon you'd get those effects pretty easily. But the red in particular, because the red always looks quite faded out without 2 or 3 coats. It always looks a bit in a wash.
Yeah, it always sort of comes out a bit like rose sort of colored instead of
bright red. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, the skeletons look pretty cool. I mean, it's basically just hitting them with Nihilak Oxide at that point for those ones. Some totally green shade in the cracks. Yeah,
or the the Hex Flame colors and stuff that they brought out with the Nighthaunt.
Yeah, exactly.
That your Nighthaunt guys are painted in. But look, I'm looking at it, and none of this stuff's going to win awards. What it's going to do is it's going to paint an army really fucking quickly.
Yeah,
and I love that.
I just won Best Painted with a wash-painted Gene Stealer Cult army.
That is very true. That is very true, actually.
Honestly, if you're the, not even necessarily if you're the only one there with a painted army, right? If you throw these down and then maybe do some detail work, I reckon you're probably in the running for Best Painted at small events.
That's probably a good point. It does let you big to the model. I'm just sort of flicking through and I'm looking at some of the Lizardman stuff.
Yeah, I just got
it's like
Tarian and he looks all right.
Oh, actually, yeah, no, I saw that. I thought he looked really good, actually,
Mm.
because it's kind of like if you can get those big bits out of the way looking decent like this, and then you put a bit of time into doing a few more technical bits and pieces around, well, whether it's some, OSL or some gems or something or whatever it is. Yeah, no, you're probably right. You can bang out something that looks really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sort of thinking about this stuff for doing like big blobs of like conscripts and cultists.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you can do that too. And
And
it'll push
as
them
well
out.
as yeah, like the last photo here Garrow's got of a hive tyrant.
Yeah, hang on. Let me just get to it. I got distracted by this week's league matchups getting posted. Let me get back to it.
Yeah, so there's a hive
Oh, yeah,
tyrant
this
here,
tyrant.
sort of is it Kraken?
Nah, that's some other fuckheads. That's the technical term.
Hang on, Leviathan's purple.
Actually, maybe it is Kraken.
I think it is Kraken. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. It's Kraken.
yeah,
Never mind. Ignore me.
yeah.
Yep, there's a Gene Stealer up to the side, and Kraken Gene Stealers are the only good Gene Stealers, so must be Kraken.
So yeah, no, very very cool. Sort of results from that, and I guess if you are looking down the barrel of painting some sort of insane horde army, guard, orcs,
Yep.
this stuff like Rob might get his orc army painted. That'd be excited.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So these are apparently out in June.
Yeah.
Look to them; they look like they're quite big pots. So look to them being quite expensive, sort of more in the big shade pot.
I was going to say they look like the wash pots.
Yeah.
Probably in terms of, well, I mean, I guess that's what Hexwraith and Nighthorn Gloom are. They're the wash pot size.
Yeah.
And then the technicals are that size as well. Actually, you know what I quite like about the Hive Tyrant? They've not filled any gaps.
Actually, that's a good point. These do look like they've just grabbed the models, whacked them on the bases, and then painted them, which I guess is what they're kind of going for.
Exactly right. It gives you that whole effect of this is what they look like, basically straight out of the box, glued together, stuck on a base with some texture paint.
And just boom, and away you go. One of the more interesting ones, and then we can sort of move on from this, is the Night Lord's Terminator.
Yeah,
I think is really because a lot of the stuff in here is organic, right? It's like human flesh.
Yeah.
It's mangler squigs, dinosaurs, troggoths, and stuff like that. But seeing a Space Marine done with them that looks that good.
Yeah.
Because Space Marines, I've seen a lot of wash painted Space Marines.
Yep.
And that never quite hits the mark.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but that looks quite good. I quite like that.
The what are they called? Fucking Sigmarine Stormcast. The Stormcast look quite nice too with that yellow glaze.
Yeah. That looks like it's yellow, the yellows and the browns and stuff like that's really nice.
Like it's not quite non-metallic metal, but from a distance,
it's getting there.
Tricked into it.
Yeah. It's getting there, and I think it suits. Sigmar.
Yes,
Sigmar is like there's a lot of things that I like in Sigmar. Like as I was saying with the Death Guard stuff, I can put up with a lot more in Sigmar, but I actually like that sort of stuff in Sigmar. It suits the feel of it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of cool. So that's the contrast paints. As we said,
the only thing I guess I know that we just said we're about to move on to the next
thing.
No,
that's right.
The only thing I'd be interested to see would be because they're just throwing it over a flat undercoat.
Yeah, like doing like
hitting it with white and then spraying. Yes. I'd be interested to see if it needs the zenithal work as well to give it some like real depth.
Well, I don't know.
Or what would happen if you gave it the zenithal? Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like it might look like magic, but it's not. Like you and I both know exactly what it is. We know how the pigment and the paint works and how they're getting these results.
Yep.
So pre-highlighting, whether it's zenithal shading, whether it's inverting this, painting it black or dark gray, and then doing the highlights on it, and then hitting it with this, that's still going to work as well.
Yeah.
Like it's just having a ton of pigment and then playing with the opacity of the paints.
Yes. Yeah.
So that they can so you can see what's underneath it more than anything else. It doesn't do anything more or less than that. It's just like, and I think the other really nice thing about this is because these are analogs of their layer paints and their base paints.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It gives you a real sort of, you can go places from it. You don't have to just stay there. You can spread out into highlights or like some extra shading or stuff like that if you really want it. Like, so you start with the battle ready, and then you can maybe go back and highlight.
100%, and you know how the colors are interacting with each other and everything else. So yeah, no, that's really good.
It'd be real good for a proof of concept model as well. If you were going to go a bit more detailed, you could still knock out a proof of concept,
punch it out and go, yes, I do like where this is headed, and
exactly
then go back
right. Yeah, do the colors work well together? Do they not? You know, and you still get that shading kind of in there too.
I am super keen to see what this stuff's like through an airbrush.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Because I think that could be. Right? What was that? Sorry.
I'd imagine it would work a bit like the tints that you get from other companies, like the Tamiya Red and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the ghost tints from Badger and whatnot.
Yeah.
That could be really cool. So look out for those shortly. I think there's going to be a lot of people painting up a lot of armies now.
Yes, yeah, I'm hoping so. And I guess Games Workshop's hoping so as well, right? Because their hobby looks better as soon as you get more people painting more shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think I've seen some people already complaining it's an easy button for armies, but like...
That happens every time something gets done for painting.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Oh, I had to go through and blend my way through 5 different fucking colors to make this work. It's like, great.
Yeah, good on you. All right. So if we move on up the blog post, we get more.
Before that, more Solar War.
Yeah, I was gonna say the non-limited edition hardback for Solar War is out this week, I think.
Yep.
So it's there in a giant pile. Great. Sure, it will be good. More Funko Pop.
Yeah. Yep.
Less high vis with Funko Pop though.
No, they're all set up now. You don't need the high vis.
Yeah.
Just lots of photos of people doing stuff. Oh, and there's a cabinet of the contrasts.
Yeah. Okay, so this was the cabinet I was telling you about.
So it looks like they've done one dude in grey, one dude in white, and then hit them both with the same.
That's what I was going to say to you. Is they're actually bringing out a contrast. You can see it there in the corner.
Yeah, Wraithbone and Grey Seer, I think, is the grey one. Yeah.
So I think they're just going to be like, Wraithbone's going to be some sort of mother of pearl, creamy sort of color, probably with a bit more body than most of the whites have. And then the grey is going to be probably a warm grey of some description for running this stuff over the top of. Actually, one of the most impressive contrast paints that I've seen so far, and this is on Garrow's page, but you can see him sort of, kind of in the bottom row, is the greys.
Oh yeah,
it is very just the light grey looks incredible, and just trying to get light grey as a color is just such an odd thing. Like trying to do that at the moment, I'm not entirely sure how you do it. You'd have to start off with black and mix your way to it, and then I think it just ends up looking like super dirty, and they just have achieved something quite good with that. So
because those Wraith Guard hats are probably just
I think the helmets are
they glazed, or are they just flat grey seer?
They don't look particularly washed. Too sure. Looking for
but the rock gut tummies would be a grey that's been thrown on.
Yeah,
the rocks that the Dankhold Troggoth has, they'd just be thrown on as well.
See if there's a close up on any of Garrow's pages of it, but I don't think so.
There's an axe being wielded by one of the Chaos dudes that's done in the grey.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All the stonework on the lizardman dinosaurs. Anyway, there's some there. And it looks quite good. It comes up well. It's probably about what I'd expect from probably a Null Oil wash over like Administratum grey or something.
I just think it cuts out a bit of the dirtiness you get with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That sort of soot staining that sometimes occurs.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, that's really cool. I definitely want to paint something with it. Like I almost feel like I want to do like I started talking about maybe Sylvaneth for Age of Sigmar and doing, one of the things I showed was a Kurnoth Hunter painted exclusively, and these looked really great. And they're quite organic. So I thought that could be a fun little thing when these pop up in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I've seen. I think Garrow said he was going to hold off doing Loon Curse now until he's got
Mm.
the contrast, so he can have a dick around with that with the Sylvaneth.
Yeah, and definitely
Makes sense to me.
anything green skin and squig skin would work really well with this
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure.
So, no, excellent. Next thing on the list is the Sisters of Battle model that we keep seeing constantly.
Yeah, now she's painted, which
Woohoo!
is exciting. Cool. Got some
Look,
roses, got some candles.
I'm very excited, and every single time somebody reminds me that we're actually getting these this year, I get mildly excited again and then forget all about them. Um,
Yep.
but no, awesome. It's a great model. It
This
always was a
one's
great
the
model.
3D print, right?
Yes,
Yeah. I'm
yes.
just noticing
The
some
original
lines on
time
the
we
whole
saw
one.
it was the oh, it's right above it actually. If you
Yeah,
scroll
yeah.
up,
That was the render, right? Yeah.
yeah, that was the original render that we saw.
Yeah. I
Um,
like the fact they've knocked out one like a prototype and put some paint on it to show us what she looks like.
well, she's actually going to be a limited edition that comes out as the launch model for the army, from
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they're
yeah.
saying,
Yep.
which would be very, very cool.
Yep. Yep. She looks cool.
Um,
I'm all in favor of it.
yeah, so yeah, Sisters Battle. We don't have a release date for it. They just keep saying it's soon, it's soon, it's soon.
Yep.
I think we'll probably see it. I actually think that Sisters of Battle could be part of their big summer release.
Yeah, because the contrasts are coming out in June, so I'd imagine they want to clear the decks
Mm.
a bit for them.
And then, well, they won't not release models at the same time as they release that
That's
stuff.
true, but they want to release something that's going to play well off of
I
that.
think July, August. I think mid August we're going to get something
That's
big.
what I would
And
think.
there's people saying ninth edition 40k after
Might just
the
be sisters.
slight slip up the other night on the Warhammer TV. Did you see that? Have you done that
Yeah,
yet,
but
one?
like I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. I'm not convinced it would be dropping this early. I think maybe beginning of next year. It depends on how, and it obviously depends on how much of an update it's going to be and the rest of it. But no, I think it could be. I think the summer release might be Sisters of Battle. I
Yep.
think maybe in August we might see some Sisters or something. So,
Yeah.
um, very, very cool. And then the next one, and this is probably the most exciting thing I think I've seen all Warhammer Fest, and this is the Codex Chaos Knights.
Yeah, the new Chaos Knight class, the
Yeah.
Rampager or the Despoiler.
So what do you think?
I
What
like
are
them.
your
I really like the fact that they are still clearly knights, but not just Imperial knights, right? They've got a different leg structure. The shoulders are like, I mean, obviously they've got the spikes, but the top
mm.
carapace has extra vents and shit on it.
Well, I just think that they're so much better than Imperial Knights. It's kind of like
Yeah.
there's more detail, there's more character, there's more
Yep.
kind of everything. Like
Yeah.
everything just seems that little bit better with them. Like it's obviously chaos, right? But
Yep.
it's like the big meat hooks that are hanging off them,
Yep.
the spikes that have got the chains linking them, the
Yep.
pipe work all over them.
Yep.
It's just Imperial Knights knocked up a level as far
Yeah,
as the
that's right.
detail and like the care
Yep.
it's been done. Like these guys are, yeah, no, I really love the look of them.
And I guess that's one of those things you always get with Chaos, right? Because you're starting from an Imperial model base, you can add extra stuff to it and make it.
That's it. That's it. Like
Next level.
I'm looking at the white one with the big maroon chaos star on his
Yeah.
carapace.
Looking at that one too.
Like, look at the fist.
Yes. Yeah. With the extra spikes and shit on it.
Yeah. And then
And
like,
the big like ash raker chainsword.
yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Is it looks like just a gigantic version of the one like the Raptors guys have got,
Yep.
and a lot of the Chaos Space Marines have got. And then you're right, like the back hinged legs.
Yep.
Like I can't remember what I was watching. It was like a director's commentary on something, on like a movie, and they were basically saying, why did you take this certain design approach to like whatever the alien was in the movie? And he was like, oh, you mean the back hinge, like the back hinged knees?
Yep.
And they were like, yeah. And he's just like, because you don't really see it anywhere in nature. That
Yes.
it's just it's the same but so inhumanly different that it could only ever be alien. And it's so true. Like whenever you see something where the legs hinge backwards, you know it's going to be fast.
Yep.
Like, you know it's going to scuttle around the place.
Yes.
And it's just not right. There's just something wrong about it.
Yep.
And I love how that sort of, yeah, I don't know. I love these guys. I really like, no part of me has ever gone, oh, I really want the Plastic Knight kit.
Yep.
Like, I've just never really liked it that much. I want like an army of these dudes, though. I don't care how crap they are. I just want an army of these dudes just running around.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Rampager does that like a Gallant doesn't.
Well, that's the other thing I'm quite interested in is obviously their, do we call it a mini decks or their PDF decks or whatever it is that they've been living with for the last
while. Have you seen the photo of it?
Oh, no. But I mean, like the current thing they've got where it's kind of
right.
like,
yeah.
Whoops, that's right. We need some Chaos Knights. Yeah, have some rules. Like, I would really hope that these guys are going to get a whole bunch of stratagems. Like, you know what I would love to see? You know how you have like the free blade ones in like the Imperial book? I want to see, and you can like choose the traits. I want to see like some insane fire frenzy Chaos Knight.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Like basically just some like crazy corn one.
Yep.
That's just like, I'm just going to put this down here, and it's just going to destroy anything near it. So I'm just going to point it towards the enemy and let it go. Like, that's this kind of cool stuff I want out of Chaos Knights.
Nice.
I don't want predictability. I don't want, every Chaos army needs to have one. Like, I don't want to see that sort of thing out of it.
Yep.
I want it to be like insanely high risk.
Yes.
For a good reward.
Right.
Like, that's what I want to see out of Chaos, right? And especially this sort of stuff.
Yeah, you almost want them to be maybe not less tough, but maybe have a few fewer wounds, but more damage output.
Yes.
So you're kind of running them a bit hotter than perhaps you would an Imperial Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something that means they have to get into combat or something.
Yep.
Would be really, really cool. I like that idea.
Yep.
So no, definitely looking forward. And the other thing that I really like about it was I found a whole bunch of Fallout Hobbies stencils.
Yeah.
I found that I was using to paint a bunch of stuff a while ago for Chaos, and I'm just thinking like, oh, they'll go so well on carapaces and stuff
they
like
sure
that.
Will.
So looking forward to that.
Nice. Shall we talk about my favorite thing for 40k from this?
Your new hovercraft.
Yes, the Skitarii hovercraft. I love the notion that hovercraft, like the concept of a hovercraft, was lost to the dark age of technology. Like, barely understood deadly technology from the age of darkness, where you don't use good, honest, emperor-fearing wheels. You use some kind of cushion to push yourself around with fans.
Yeah. You've basically like mutilated a jumpy castle. And put it under your tank.
Yep. I love it. It's so good.
It's
the tank version is my favorite, but the APC is nice too.
Going to have to disagree with you.
Really?
The landing craft is clutch.
It is so very pretty. Good. Don't get me wrong. I do like it. I like it a lot.
See, like these landing crafts are going to make their way into at least one of my Imperial Guard armies.
I have thought about that. I was thinking, oh, which Gaunt's Ghost novel could I like? Is there anything I could base it off of?
Yeah,
Ghost's novel, but there's not really.
So good. It's just so blatantly D-Day. Like, they're not even trying.
And they look so good in that kind of military green as well.
Yeah, it would look fucking absolutely mental with some big big numbers like stenciled on the side of it.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. I think the really embarrassing thing is going to be it's going to be so easy to try and pack the front of that with miniatures that if it's got a transport capacity of like 10 Skitarii or whatever it is, you're not fitting 10 Skitarii in the front of that.
No, that's true. But if you've got the old deathcore dudes that are standing in rows for the
yes,
you can almost cut them down and fit them in.
That might work. Look, I don't mind the tank. The tank's kind of cool.
I just love the fact that it's like clearly not a military vehicle.
Yes.
It's just high and like straight angles and would just die immediately to any sort of high energy tank round. But it's clearly not designed for that, right? It's this skimmy little piece of shit that floats around with a cannon.
Yeah, I'm sort of interested to see what its rules are going to be like.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, if you want a tank at the moment, it's like the Onager.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
Onagers are quite good at what they do, right? But
Yep.
they are expensive and all this. So I imagine this is going to be like a much cheaper option for them.
Yeah. I wonder if it's going to sit in that kind of Carnodon equivalent block. So like Carnodons will even
Yeah,
Russ.
yeah, it definitely could. It is quite a big miniature though when you see like the top down
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
got some size to it. It's long. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
long boy.
it's quite long. So I'm sort of wondering where that's
Yeah.
all going to fit because they don't really say much. But well, no, sorry, they do say it is a fast moving battle tank. So
Yep.
you kind of get the feeling that it is going to be lightly armored and you
Yeah.
know glass cannony. But no, I
I bet
like
you
it.
it
I
still
like
takes the -1 to hit with a heavy weapon.
that would suck.
Wow,
Um,
that's what
well,
Ridge
I guess
Runners
you've got like
but you can
God, what
mount
are
so
they
many
called?
stubbers on it that it looks like it'd probably be all right.
Yeah, and did you see the prow torpedoes,
Yes, I did see the Prow torpedoes. They look
which I
cool.
thought was very cool. I
Mm.
love the nauticalness of them.
Yes, yeah, 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 for
Um,
sure.
as a design language across the entire range, it's actually quite interesting because there's a few people sort of commenting like already in the last 2 hours that we've known what this fucking thing is that it doesn't fit with anything with the Mechanicus because it doesn't have spider legs. And
Yeah,
then I was sort of, and then I
finally.
sort of, well, and then I sort of felt like pointing out that actually they're not spider legs, they're crab legs.
Exactly. Yeah, 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 100%.
And it's not the crab legs, it's the nautical marine sort of feel to things
Yep.
that they have, which is kind of hilarious because it's all about sandy dead Mars.
Yes.
Yet, oh, so much of this stuff like hovercrafts. Like when we think about hovercrafts, we think about things that go on water,
Yep.
not particularly things that go on sand. Even though like modern hovercrafts you can use on sand, they use them for dune racing and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, yep, yep.
And if you've ever actually seen, they actually do have gigantic landing craft. The Brits have got them and the Americans have got them, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they put like fucking Abrams tanks on the damn things.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they have those giant troop landing ships where the front of them all opens up and all these giant hovercrafts sort of spill out, and they
Yeah.
can move all their heavy armor onto the beach and stuff.
Yep.
So it's not sort of out of the realm of modern day military to have this style of tech,
Yep.
which is just really cool. Um, so no, I think I just really do see some of those the troop transport versions ending up in some Imperial Guard armies. I
That's
just love that
interesting.
so much.
They do look very, very cool. I'm keen to see them. Like, I'd love to get my hands on one and actually look at it.
Yeah. I'm the size for me is what I'm interested in more than
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Is how that's going to kind of go.
Yep.
Okay,
Nice.
repulsors. How are you feeling
Yeah.
about repulsors these days?
I mean, I see so many of them on the table. I mean, clearly they need a nerf, right? Um, right? Everybody's running 3 repulsors. That's the meta, yeah.
Well, that was my understanding of the meta.
So what we
With
have
all
here,
these top tier space marine lists.
yeah, that's right. What we have here is the Repulsor Executioner. The Space Marines get all the good stuff and are clearly top dogs in all competitive scenes. But it's a repulsor with more gun.
Because that's what a repulsor was missing was guns.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the executioner is, as an executioner always is plasma. Like
Yep.
a big plasma blast gun on it. And then we also have a heavy laser destroyer version, which seems to be some like similar to the Vindicator heavy laser destroyer, I would imagine.
Those fuckers.
Um,
That's just to destroy a tank hunter, but the Space Marines have one now. Fuck.
yes.
And it's got a minigun and a heavy bolter and a million fucking grenade launchers attached to it.
Yes, and it's anti-grav.
Fuck. It's all right.
And
The
the
destroyer is still
transport
prettier tank.
capacity, right? Um,
Destroyer is still prettier. Doesn't matter.
yeah, very much. Very,
And
very,
to
very
be
much.
honest, I'm probably more likely to see a destroyer on the table than a repulsor. As bad as
Yeah.
destroyers are.
So no, that's cool. Gives you some more repulsor options.
Although having said that, they have said that it's kind of built for apocalypse.
Oh, did they?
Well, they've kind of introduced it as a to go with apocalypse. idea being
Right, for
you're hunting
shooting titans and stuff
all
like
that sort
that.
of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Okay, right. So that's really nice. I'm a little bit sort of confused. Like, does that mean that you're going to get one repulsor kit now with 3 options for turrets?
No, it looks like the turret and the top hull have been completely redone. Because the top
Right.
hull on the base repulsor, just above those side doors, has a storm bolter setup.
Okay, right. So
So
this
it
looks
looks
like
like
it
the
could be
entire top hull has been
its
replaced,
own
which
double
means
kit.
it's probably a separate sprue. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's very nice. That's cool.
Kind of like the Land Raider ones, where you've got the Crusader.
Yeah. You'll have 2 repulsor
Yep.
boxes.
Yeah, exactly. And then when they inevitably do the Hurricane Bolter repulsor, that'll have its own box too.
Well, no, nobody will want that because there's not beta bolter rules anymore. So,
No, that's true.
all right. And now Apocalypse.
Yeah.
So, free rules online for your army on launch day. All the rules are available for free to download.
That's all right.
Just think about that. They're just literally going, no, just everything's online. Like I
Same
can't
news by the
imagine.
way, in the Age of Sigmar update. Now that it's past midnight.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Um,
Sorry.
look, and I can't imagine that there won't be books and all sorts of other things.
Yes. Yeah.
Sort of put out eventually for it. But like they just seem to be listening, and I have to keep saying this, and I know I say it a lot. It's just so many people it's just Games Workshop, like they're just lying to you. They're just lying to you. They'll just snap back. They'll just be exactly like they were 15 years, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and it'll just be, I just sort of think like one, just shut up and enjoy it, even if it is a mistake, even if it is just a good period. Shut up and enjoy it.
Yep.
But I don't think it is. I think they've gone, hey, we want people to play this game. Fastest way to do it, just dump everything online for it on a release day.
Yep.
And then work from there. Like there's still stratagem packs to buy and all sorts of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see this, like there's obviously D12s.
Yep.
Lots of tokens, lots of
tokens.
stratagem cards, individual army stratagem cards. We know there's going to be movement trays.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So yeah, like free rules when you're buying all the other stuff. That's kind of okay.
Yep.
Kind of like that.
Yep.
So, and then the other big thing, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard about Apocalypse, well, it's come back at least. Apparently, Apocalypse battles in an evening. So kind of, do you want to play 40k 8th edition, or do you want to play Apocalypse? And it's kind of like one or the other as far as time goes. So, lots of thoughts on it being perhaps an epic style.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing too.
Lots of sort of insta-giving of units, and like units operate as units, not as individual models.
Yeah.
So the tank squadrons and the rest of that sort of thing, as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things I really like that I'm reading here is that damage is resolved at the end of the turn.
Yeah, well, that was kind of an old epic thing as well, wasn't it? That it was
exactly right. So you're not shooting a Reaver at a Reaver, killing that second Reaver, and then the guy who owns the second Reaver gets all shitty.
Never gets to use it. Yeah.
Everyone can shoot, and then you resolve damage, which I think is really clever.
Yeah, I quite like it.
It also means that you're not like waiting for a phase to end before you're doing the next thing. You can almost just do all of the turns simultaneously, resolve all your damage, and then just launch into the next turn.
Well, that was something they were sort of saying, was that there was a very big difference with the activations and how that worked, but not a lot of detail. So I think you might be right on the money there. It's going to be a case of everybody can just be throwing dice and moving shit around, and then you sort of have some sort of tidy up phase at the end of it.
Yep. Which was always the worst part of any Apocalypse game, right? Sitting around waiting for Johnny Million Gaunts in the corner to finish his movement phase, or
fuck yeah, you used to wander off and get drunk.
Exactly.
And then basically nobody finished a game, and it was just this. So no, I think if you want to play 8th edition and scale it to Apocalypse, it's very possible to do, and you can still spend a weekend playing a game.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the idea that, considering some of the big toys we've all got in our gaming group and everything else, the idea that we may be able to get those on the table and go, I feel like something different. I don't want Kill Team. I don't want 8th edition. Oh, I'll play this something else. And it's sort of like the big Kill Team.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
going to be as different as Kill Team is, if not maybe even a bit more. So very much looking forward to that.
Almost wants to see Titans removed altogether from 40k and just dumped into Apocalypse.
Well, I don't think Titans have ever really. Well, in 8th edition, I don't think Titans have really existed in 40k. They've been too fucking terrible.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like, in order to balance them out, they've had to make them quite gimped.
Yeah.
So if you just took them out altogether and then just said, because we're supporting Apocalypse as a full alternate way to play, this is just like, you don't have to try and shoehorn them into 40k anymore. They just live in Apocalypse, and off you go.
No, it's probably not a like reality goggles on. I can't see them doing that because it's restrictive.
No, I know,
and they won't want to do it. But I can see the argument for doing it to sort of tidy up. Like, it gives you both Kill Team and Apocalypse, I feel, give you a license as a designer to do a lot of things to 40k proper.
Yes.
Because if you want to do some of that other stuff that might have balancing issues or, different weird combos, you've got 2 other game systems that'll be able to handle it.
Yep.
Like, if you really want to see how incredibly amazing custodes are, right?
Yep.
Apocalypse is an amazing canvas for that, because you could you could soup up like custodes using stratagems and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So that maybe custodes bikes could go through. Well, not that they're not overly souped up in 40k, but you know what I mean. Like, you could make stuff really wonky on the power thing, because some dude's going to turn up and just go, Reaver, kill that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, like, your apocalyptic, like, Gatling laser blast that just obliterates them all.
Yeah,
so it feels like you could have a lot more swings and roundabouts in Apocalypse without hurting 40k proper.
Yeah, and there's not quite the same competitiveness, I don't think, to Apocalypse.
Well, that'll actually be interesting. I wonder whether
I guess
you
it'll be
would be able
interesting
to
if it
make
changes,
it competitive in some ways.
Because I guess Epic always wasn't it? There was
very much so. Yeah, I was always a big fan of. Well, not personally. I'm not actually a big fan of Epic at all, but
no.
but no, it was a competitive Epic was a big thing.
Yes.
Even when it wasn't being supported.
Yeah.
A lot of the rules, there was a big idea that, we want this rule set that's tight.
Yep.
And all set up. Here we go. Dave just messaged me.
Oh, nice. Excellent. Good.
Fuck my bad.
Did he accidentally order decaf and fall asleep?
I'm not too sure. We'll rib him. He said he's still going to jump in, which is good. Okay. So we'll have Dave Coben from.
I get to meet Dave
on the line. Yes, voice to voice with Dave. It's very exciting. All right, so Apocalypse, and now we're on to your favorite part of the evening, Doug.
To be fair, you also expressed about as much excitement for this as I did. But yes, let's talk the Horus Heresy stuff. Or should we wait for Dave?
I feel like this is actually a pretty good place for Dave to jump in, because he's a 30k EO like we have been in the past.
Yep.
He's got a big event coming up at the end of the month, I think.
And may have more excitement for some of these kits than we do.
Yeah, that's it. Let's see. Has he appeared yet?
So we shall take a quick break rather than just, constantly mumbling into the mics, and come back to you when Dave's online.
Sounds good.
Because I assume you can edit this to make that work.
Yeah. No, that's what I was going to do.
Good. Excellent. Or just leave this in as well, and we can just sit in awkward silence for a bit. Also good.
I'm just worried. I just always get worried about saying something, because it might be really good content, and then we've lost it. Where is he? What's he doing?
I don't know, man.
Dave. I wonder if Gary's got any more updates.
Maybe. Yes.
Oh, there you go. He's got the Iron Father built.
Going to be fighting top dog in the Hawkesbury League this week.
Who's top dog?
Chris O'Neill at the moment. Which army list is he running? He is running, I think that's either the Necrons or the Grey Knights.
Jesus.
One of those is scary. One of them is not. Oh no, mixed Imperium. So Admech and Assassins. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. What's he got? He's got a lot of photos of some painted Warcry stuff. That looks really nice.
Yeah, I think that's all up in the top bit too.
Yeah.
Some kind of lion for the next level of Underworld.
Oh, okay.
As well.
The Furies look really fucking cool.
Kind of like the Snake Dudes, though.
Where are the Snake Dudes? I miss the Snake Dudes. I can't even say those.
The Splintered Fang.
I think so. All right, Dave. Dave said give him a couple of minutes. He needs pants because apparently it's cold in Kansas at the moment.
Don't need pants on the
podcast. So we'll just keep going, and he can just jump in when he gets here. That's
all right,
fine.
good. I
We'll
can get
just
all
let
my
him do
salt
that.
out quick.
That's
and maybe he can be excited on the back end and make us feel a bit better.
Okay, so Demons of the Ruin Storm.
Sorry, do we need quiet before we kick back in? Like so that you can mark it?
Fuck. Yeah, okay.
And we're back. Dave's just sorting out his last few technical issues, but he will join us as time allows and as technology allows. So we'll push on and he can jump in and blow us all away with his awesome insights on the 30K stuff.
Perfect. So first lot of 30K stuff on the box at the moment, Demons of the Ruin Storm. And these guys are specifically brutes.
Yeah.
Which are kind of like Ogren-sized demons, I want to say.
Yep. They look like they're either 40 or 50 mil bases. So
yeah.
That's about right.
See, okay, so I'm just going to start off by saying I actually quite like these, and I like them because of how generic they are.
Yep.
Rebuttal, please.
They just look like something Privateer Press would shit out in an afternoon. They're a bit like generic horny demons, as in demons with horns, not demonettes. Like, I don't know if it's just the paint scheme being a bit like not bad, but a little bit generic on them, as well as them being generic kits that's hurting them. But at the same time, I don't know that I would necessarily run them. I'd be more inclined to do something like Fiends of Slanesh or like the Juggernauts and stuff, because I think they look cooler.
Yeah, I think there's definitely there's always the conversation, at least there has been for the last few years, that whenever they do these previews, the paint jobs on them are fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, like I would be busting my balls to like paint this sort of scheme, right? Like,
yep.
It wouldn't be easy for me. I'm not saying I can paint better than this, but they're obviously not getting the heavy metal guys to put a ton of effort into this if these are even painted by the heavy metal guys, and I don't think they are. I think this is another team that pushes stuff out for these preview photos.
Yep.
And as somebody said to me a while ago, and I thought this was quite an important thing, is that the paint schemes they're using are to show off the model, not to show off the paint scheme. And I know that sounds really fucking weird, but if you look at a lot of the schemes they're coming out with, and I said this earlier this episode as well, that they're very bright.
Yep.
There's schemes where in a photo on a white background, you don't lose any detail. If there are ridges in the model, they're very clearly defined with like edge highlighting. Like if you look at this demon, the one with the axe.
Yep.
And you look at his arm, right? Like all of that highlighting down his arm, all that sort of stuff, it shows you where all the ridges are in the dark parts of the model.
Yeah.
And the camera grabs that. And then
Yep.
you're seeing 100% of that model. You're not losing any of the detail in the photo. And somebody was saying that they actually feel like that's what they're going for more than an amazing paint job. They just want you to see every bit of the model that you can possibly see.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I sort of thought, yeah, that's actually not a bad that's actually not a sort of a bad thought on why they paint this way.
Yep.
As well as obviously it's very quick.
Yeah.
They're getting this stuff out quite quickly. Apparently, when they do it, they're not spending anywhere near the time that the heavy metal guys spend on things. So
yeah.
So that's
Yep.
that's
I
that.
don't know. Like, make your own judgments on them, people. I just find them a bit generic, and honestly, I'd rather have, instead of these guys,
God
a unit of
specific.
Juggernautes or even a unit of Chaos Ogrins.
Yeah. I'm big
Like, I
fan of
guess
Chaos
that
Ogre.
they're not quite exactly the same thing, but you could demon up some Ogrins and
Yeah.
run them. Yeah, that's just yeah. They just look like something I'd expect from like Heresy miniatures or something, rather than.
I, I, yeah, I like them for the reasons you don't like them, and I just there's always going to be that gulf there between it.
That seems fair. Yeah.
And I think we have I think we have a David Coman.
Yes, or Hannah, depending on. Who's just trying to chat.
Yeah, you've finally got your sleeping Titan Smith.
Sleeping Beauty. That's it.
I don't know what the fuck you've been smoking this morning. Oh, now I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm signed into her account for those of you who aren't on Google.
Yeah. So when I put this up on our YouTube account, and the only video you actually get is the different avatars of people popping between voices, you'll see that Dave's actually signed in on his girlfriend's account.
I can honestly say I've never felt so good or so pretty. I feel like I could take on the world this morning.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it's absolutely hilarious because it's like 20 to 1 here in Sydney in the morning. So we're kind of the opposite end of that spectrum.
Yes, I'm just about ready for bed. So
yeah. So Dave, just to catch you up where we're at, we're going through the Warhammer Fest blog and supplementing it with stuff off Facebook and talking about like all the new miniatures. And we've just hit the 30K section.
Okay, let me pull that up. I was awake for like 10 minutes, an hour and a half ago, I think. And I briefly scrolled through, and I got the Cliff Notes version of the important things. So, you know, Renegade Knights at the top and some cool stuff coming for Heresy.
Yeah. Yep. So best thing to do is warhammercommunity.com.
No, I just got it pulled up.
Yeah, perfect. So we're looking at Demons of the Ruinstorm at the moment, and we currently have one vote for they're really generic and Doug doesn't like them, and one vote for they're really generic and I like them because of that. So you're the tiebreaker.
So I will just throw this out there, and we're just to make sure we're looking at the right ones. We're talking about the dude with the big ass hammer and then the two little scrubs below him, right?
Yep. That's the one.
So once again, Games Workshop and Forge World need to fire whoever they have that is in charge of taking the photos. I promise you, these sculpts look fantastic when they actually come out. And once they're in hand, whoever gets them and starts painting them, they're going to look great. And the fact that they look generic compared to everything else that they have. They look very generic. They don't look any specific god alignment, which is what they're going for with the 30K style. And I like them. I like that because that's kind of what they're going for. That's something strange and different that we're not familiar with. They're not really supposed to have that god alignment feel. So personally, I like that. I like the sculpt. I like the fact that they're different. They are kind of generic compared to the rest, and I find that appealing just because it's kind of nice to get away from that hyper specific style that they've gone with everything, especially coming off the back of the what did they just come out with? Was it
the Slaneshi stuff?
Yeah, and Slanesh, to me, Slanesh was very similar to these guys, at least just aesthetically, minus all of just the adornments. Like, it was very muscular, very much big, bold sections of skin, but they just cover it with a little bit of, cloth, a little bit of armor here and there. And I feel like if you would have just taken all of that stuff off, you'd have a very similar looking set of figures to these guys, minus the horns. So I want to see what else they've got. Now, if these are the only three models they come out with, and they're like, hey, here are your demons, and then just supplement them with plastics, I'm gonna shake my head and be like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
No, I think there's definitely a sense that you're gonna get a full demon line. These are just the brutes, like the Ogren size guys.
Mm-hmm.
More than anything. So, yeah. I think we're going to see a bit more in the second seminar tomorrow, perhaps.
Maybe. So, okay, let me pitch you my vision for a better Ruinstorm Brute. I would have been much more intrigued by something that was a little bit more, not quite Chaos Spawny, but like down that end of the spectrum, like less structured. And a little bit more of that kind of raw chaos energy style thing.
Yeah, I think that would have been good. One thing I saw a couple of days ago. Oh, by the way, I'm getting feedback through somebody's mic there. Is anybody not wearing headphones?
David. Let me find headphones here.
That's all right. I can cut this stuff out.
But I've got headphones, man. I can learn my mistakes. I'm not a child, Andrew. I mean, you guys don't have to stop talking. But...
Oh no, it's the law. We have to stop talking whenever anything happens, right? Yes. Anyway, Andrew, you were saying something about how I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, I saw somebody had painted up some old pink horrors, and they'd done them in like, obviously they weren't like pink; they were more like sort of fleshy pink tones and things like that. And they sort of like, black to them, and it was a very cool way of doing them that made them feel generic. Not marked, like they just seemed like unknowable horrors from the deep expanses of space or something. And so I kind of get what you mean. I just don't know how you have an entire army of just fucking tentacles and mouths and stuff without it getting I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe I've just been watching that episode of Love, Death and Robots too much. But like something like that, right? Something that's just, we were talking about before with the Chaos Knights, right? As soon as you see something with a knee that goes the wrong way,
you just know that's
otherworldly. More of that, and less just, it's a big dude with some horns.
That's come from hell.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think even like maybe even just a head swap, so that it's a little bit less about devil aesthetic.
Yeah, maybe.
Might fix them up a fair bit.
I was just looking at the Middle Earth Dwellers in the Dark, and I almost like them more than I like these things. Dwellers in the Dark are $72 each, so no thank you.
Yeah. Fair enough. By the way, Doug, just going back to the beginning of our episode, we actually have an answer for what that other miniature is that was all blacked out.
Yes, we do. Did I not?
Yeah. Well, no. You said the snake guys were really cool. You didn't say the snake guy was the guy that was blacked out.
Oh, sorry, I did mean to say that. Yeah, the dude with the snake silhouette, part of the snake guys. Funnily enough,
very cool.
But we'll talk about him when we get to the AOS stuff, I guess.
Okay, so the next one on the list is the Ares gunship. So this is the second big Custodes flyer, and it basically looks like somebody cut the ass off an Orion.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fine. I think I like the Orion more than I like this, but I like big flying things, so I like it. Dave, what do you think?
There's just something about it that makes me think of Stargate.
Yes.
I think it's that cut they've got on the backside, and something about that arch and those vertical lines they have following that arch. That, and the fact that they literally have it sort of mounted to directly on top of a circular base, so it looks more like a hover tank than a flyer.
Yes,
Yeah.
There is something off-putting about the way that they've done that. But no, I don't think anything that reminds you of Stargate could ever be a bad thing, right?
No, you're right. It's just there's something about it. This is literally the first thing in that entire range of models that I see it immediately, and I'm like, what the fuck does that look like? It came out of Stargate.
Yeah.
Yes, we were saying before, it looks like the cutout bit at the back is probably just big enough to put the Emperor's base in when he comes out, so he can ride it like a chariot.
If you do that, where are you going to put the speakers? Blaring "Rock You Like a Hurricane."
That's going to be with the LED kit that goes underneath it. They're going to have a cutout for it.
Okay.
No, that's very cool. And look, I imagine it's basically the same size as the Orion, just minus the troop base, so it's going to be massive.
Yeah.
If anybody's thinking about buying it, you probably might want to just stick it straight to a base. And hopefully they've got their QA sorted out so that the ones that they mold and send out you can actually paint, unlike the original batch of Orions that everybody and their dog got tried to prime them and paint them, and all the paint just came off. Good old Forge World. All right. Next one, as scrolling up, we have a Space Wolves Dreadnought painted red.
Yep. I have nothing else to add to that one.
Dave, you weren't here for our pre-game chat, which was basically that there isn't much in the 30k side of Warhammer Fest that we're that excited about at the moment. I'm hoping there's something tomorrow that pops up that's really exciting for me. But as a Blood Angel player, this Jump Pack Dreadnought is just not doing anything for me.
I'm sad that they show. Well, I have a few thoughts on this model, but I'm mostly sad that they show us a picture of it, and they're like, "Hey, check this out! It's really cool," but they don't bother to show us a picture of the painted Jump Pack.
Yes. 100%.
That's a really good point, actually. I hadn't really thought about it. I didn't notice that. I was just like, oh yeah, it's just another Contemptor.
To me, this is very much one of those used car lots, and the dude's like, I can just totally see that the injured guy, the injured Marine is laying there, and you've got the tech Marine standing there next to this Contemptor, and it's like a meme. He just slaps. This baby can get so much air, and you literally got just a big fucking rocket strapped to the back with duct tape and prayer, and they're like, "Fuck, we don't know. Maybe this thing's gonna work."
That's it. If anything happens to this bloke, he was already basically dead anyway. It's not like we.
But I mean, overall, like, I like the aesthetic of the model, but again, for some reason, I feel like the actual design on this, now that they have it painted more so than when it wasn't, I feel like it aesthetically looks something more akin to a Space Wolf. Like the claws and everything definitely are Blood Angel, but there's something about just the style of those knees and the crotch plate, and just sort of something to do with the filigree that feels a bit Norse and Nordic, that I feel like it would be more in more at home in a Space Wolf force.
Yeah, I think the Blood Angel, the 30k Blood Angel aesthetic, I think there's some amazing parts of it in regards to like their decals and the way they blend sort of the Renaissance artwork with that sort of grim aesthetic. But a lot of the, I guess you call it filigree, like the gold filigree on different things, is shit. Like, it just doesn't, like, as a decal, it works. As raised detail, it just seems too ham-fisted. Yeah, like the edges on stuff. Like, the one I hate the most is the Blood Angel Leviathan has, like, gold filigree edging on his, like, torso.
Yeah.
And then every so often it sort of flicks inwards with these little, like, hooked bits of it. And it's supposed to look delicate, and it just really fails. It's just, I don't know. I just sort of think, you could have left it alone and done it with decals, or you could have put a bit more effort into it, made it a bit finer, but then maybe it doesn't cast as well. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's fine. I like that Blood Angels have another Contemptor body. Like, options are always a nice thing to have. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I'd ever run one. I don't think I'd ever take a jump pack dreadnought. I think the idea of it's just ridiculous. And not in a good way ridiculous. Ridiculous in a we've run out of like ideas, so let's put space marines on wolves, and while we're at it, we'll have jump pack dreadnoughts.
Well, Andrew, at least it's good to know that we found the line for you,
We've found the jumping the shark, and we're jumping it with a jump pack equipment. Yes.
Giant walking battle sarcophagus, pass. Giant walking battle sarcophagus with jump pack, fail.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
The one saving grace for this kit, I think, the thing that I like about it is the little Iron Man retro rockets on the fists.
Why'd you have to say Iron Man's? Oh, now I really want to fucking paint that
thing. That's fair.
If you do that, you've got to do a Pepper Potts Tech Marine to go with him. Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Jump pack dreadnought. What are you going to do about it?
At least. Sorry, go.
No, go ahead. Now I'm just groaning because it's like that's actually perfect. And the stupid Iron Man movies, I love those movies. Now they're not stupid, but it's like those colors are actually perfect. That version of red and gold for Heresy, goddamn.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. I'll commission you to do it.
Thanks, Felicia.
All right, and now we're on to the, I think probably the big winners out of Warhammer Fest this year for Heresy being the White Scars. They have more model releases than anybody else in the Heresy side of things. A lot of this stuff that, I think a lot of people were not too sure whether they were going to get everything. And it looks like they've just gone, no, we've done everything. Blah, here you go.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any White Scars units that are sort of missing apart from the Khan himself. And who knows, we might get the Khan tomorrow.
Yep.
They might drop him at the end of the day as the last thing for White Scars and Heresy. So, what do you guys think? Are there any that you want to sort of zoom in on and sort of spend a bit of time talking about over anything else? Or
I don't know. Personally, I just now realized that they've got their custom jet bikes. They look really nice. I don't think they're that special outside of they look to be shorter and actually have the lances like manually attached on one version. But like you basically hit everything I was going to say. They're just winners and everything looks amazing. The Terminators look sexy. Of course, the Legion that is supposed to be super anti Dreadnought even gets Dreadnoughts that looks sexier than just about all the other Legion's Dreadnoughts.
Look, I'm not overly blown away by the Golden Keshig, which are their jet bike guys. It's just a different front end on a scimitar. Like I love that it's a big, like a gigantic, like turbo fan, like inlet on the front of it, sort of thing. That's kind of cool. But other than that, I'm not enamored with it. My favorite thing is probably their land speeder, their javelin. That seems to have all the guns. So it's got an assault cannon. It's got 2 twin-linked, what looks to be autocannons.
Yep.
I think, and then a hunter killer missile on the top. 2 hunter killer missiles actually. Yeah. And then I like the 2 little windscreens that they have there, because of course Space Marines don't have fucking helmets.
Nice.
But yeah, like I think it's really cool. The really interesting thing is the bit of heresy I've been sort of dealing with in the last couple of months. Checking out a few events, playing in one event. There is a huge number of White Scars players out there. There's a lot of people that really love White Scars, so I think this is going to have made a lot of people very happy, which is cool. I always like it when other people are happy with the hobby.
Seems fair. Yeah, they look all right. I mean, like the Praetors are kind of cool. Andrew, we were talking before. The Terminator Praetor looks nice with the triple top knot and the bird pal.
Yeah. Whereas
not sold on the power armored Praetor, mostly because he has a coin operated eye patch. There's like a coin slot in the eye patch, so it feels like you're just feeding quarters into him to keep him going all the time.
Yeah. I also feel like he's halfway through some sort of dance routine.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just not like sometimes Games Workshop does a really good job with dynamic poses where the entire model is putting their weight behind an attack, or they're dodging, or they're doing this, or they're like a great example is the Harlequin Solitaire that's leaping, right? Like everything about that model is just synced perfectly.
Yeah.
And then there's this guy who kind of has a foot up in the air. So, okay, funny story. My oldest daughter, Rory, is currently 20 months old, right? And she's decided to try and learn how to jump. And this is really weird because when you think about it, you kind of go, learn how to jump? What the fuck? No. Kids literally have to learn how to jump. So they'll see another kid jumping or something jumping and they'll try and emulate it, but they don't actually understand how to do it. And the hard bit is getting both feet off the ground at the same time. And Doug, you would have seen this the other night when she was trying to do it. So what she does is she sort of crouches down a bit and then tries to throw herself up in the air, and the arms go up and the torso extends, but one of the legs will come off the ground and the other one just extends but stays stuck to the ground. And it's only once every 5 or 6 attempts that both feet will leave the ground, and she sort of startles herself. That's kind of what this guy looks like he's doing with his feet. It looks like he's kind of jumping, but one foot hasn't left the ground. But the top body, once you get past the waist, everything from the waist up to the head doesn't match what's going on with his legs. I don't know. It doesn't work for me. He needs a different top or something like that. One thing that would be very cool, actually, is if you chop this dude in half and you put the top half on a bike, so that it looks like he's, about to swing off the side of a jet bike. Would be, I think, just a better use of that model.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he's let down a little bit by the basing. So if you had him running downhill, he'd probably look a bit better. But he's running uphill.
Yeah, it's possible that it's it's also the angle that he's on, or
yeah.
The way that they've taken those photos, as Dave says, shoot the photographer.
See, I honestly don't think that they should shoot him at this. I always say that because I know they never will. But let's be very clear at this point. It's almost a necessity now that they continue to just put out these crap photos, because they used to be just absolute shit. Every photo they put out is just utter trash. Nowadays, at least they're passable for the most part. Very rarely do they just put out something that's why the hell would you show this off at this angle? that's not even a dynamic angle. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like a child, you gave them a photo, like a camera, and they press the button. They don't understand that you're supposed to actually like point it at something type situation.
Yeah. There's a sense that, like, you know, and I think if you look at the Ebon Keshig, which are the Black Tartarus Termes, I get the feeling, actually, no, I can tell you 100%, they were all taken separately, and they've been photoshopped together.
Which, again, goddamn,
which is just a bit odd, because it's kind of like the two guys in the bottom row, like the guy one-handing the pole arm would look better turned out a little bit. You know, like obviously the focal point of the model is not his crotch plate; it should be his pole arm. You know, but it just doesn't work that way. So instead of like what could be quite a dynamic looking model, because, you know, like obviously you've got these little cloth bits streaming out and all sorts of stuff, he's just standing completely still. But yeah, look, I think between the paint jobs and the photography, it's kind of cool, because you don't quite know what you're going to get if you order them. They might turn up and they might be what you get in the photo. They might turn up and they might be a lot better than that. Which I know a few people have said about that Harville Red Blade Space Wolves guy that we panned. A few people got him in hand and said he doesn't look anything like Fat Bastard from Austin Powers, which I'm not sure of, but hey.
Color me surprised.
Yeah. What else we got? Oh, you know what we skipped over, Doug?
Ralderon?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Dave, can you... Chapter Master Ralderon of the Blood Angels, what are your thoughts on him?
He looks like something out of a 70s or 80s low-budget cartoon.
Yes.
That's a fucking excellent way of putting it. It's a pile of shit.
Like, I genuinely believe this is, again, one of those models where you put it in the hands of somebody talented, like Little Legend Studios. They'll give you something bang on. But again, the armor, to me, that paint scheme does nothing for the sculpt. I feel that when you go so far over the top with all the tiny fucking details, you're better off just painting the armor fucking gold. Like, take those massive sections and just paint them gold, and have either the full armor gold and just various shades, you know what I mean? Where it's all gold and bronze, and then you have a few patches you come in and paint with the Blood Angels red to make the model stand out that way, or something. But like the way they've done it, it looks like it's pastel. It looks like everything's done in a weird pastel color. His head looks okay. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it just, the whole thing looks fucked up. I don't know why. It looks like there's a filter on it.
Well, I think Doug and I were talking about it. We were saying we can't really stand it. The paint job is terrible. We don't think the model's actually that redeemable. The right hand is gimped. It seems like it's in the wrong position to be doing what he's doing with the sword.
Yeah, I just now saw that it's supposed to be wiping blood off the blade.
Yeah.
Now I'm really sad.
So there's a few issues with this as well. Is that if it's a power sword, there wouldn't be any blood on it to wipe off.
An old maid is losing fingers if it's a power sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's a blade of perdition, it's going to be on fire as well. So there's no blood left on that, and you're losing fingers. So you kind of go like, what the fuck's happening? If you look at his chest, Doug pointed out that it looks like he's wearing a jump pack harness.
But where's the jump pack?
Yeah.
Where's the jump pack? Why is it burnt? Why is it burnt?
So there's just a lot of stuff on this that just isn't right. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, and you didn't really like the crotch plate either, did you, Andrew?
Oh yeah, no. It looks like somebody's like dropped the card inserts out of their wallet, and it's flipped out over his crotch plate. It's just like the armor's supposed to be super fine detail, and this is the thing with the Blood Angels that I can't stand. It's supposed to be delicate filigree. Like if you look at the face on his left leg, on the knee plate, that's fantastic. That little head is amazing. But it doesn't fit with the crotch plate. It certainly doesn't fit with the giant iron halo blood drop that has this giant chunky base that's stuck to the top of his fucking backpack. It doesn't fit with the big, like that skull on his chest plate, that all the stuff, like it looks like a giant fucking gingerbread cookie or something. Like it's just, I don't know. The face on his knee is the only redeemable feature on this model. It's the only thing I can find that I like about it. I don't even like the fucking demon hand on his base. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Why is a demon leaving a hand somewhere when it gets banished back to the Immaterium by killing it?
Well, I'm sure.
From... Sorry, carry on, Dave.
Oh, I was just going to make a joke. I'm sure if you got your hand cut off by such a shittily painted model and shitty sculpt that you wouldn't want it back either. I ain't living this down. Fuck that.
No. Just right. I'll just say I lost it in a fucking sausage maker. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, Raldoran's a hot mess. Like, yeah, I really want to see Miles paint it. From what a legend, like he's my favorite Blood Angel painter by far anywhere in the world that I have seen. And if anybody can do something with it, I think it's going to be him. I just hope it involves cutting that fucking crotch plate bit off.
I guess that means I'm just going to have to buy him and do something.
Yeah, no, Dave.
No. I can't compete with Miles. Fuck that.
Yeah, there's nothing about him that looks particularly Blood Angel-y either.
Well, that's what I was thinking, right? I was looking at him and being like, I could almost make an Iron Warrior out of him, and that's probably not a good thing.
No, that's exactly it. It's like the banding reinforcement looks exactly like that. It's reinforcement. It's not detail. Yeah. Oh, anyway, I need to move on, or else I'm going to get stuck on this for the entire night. Is going fucking.
One more thing to say, just to piss Andrew off a little bit more. There is one thing about this model that I've been staring at, trying to figure out what it is, and it finally dawned on me. Have you guys seen the movie or the previews for that movie, Mortal Engines?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does his faceplate not look like that mask that chick wears in that movie?
Oh shit! Yes.
There you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I like usually I'd like to reserve judgment till I see somebody like Miles paint. I just don't see it redeeming it enough. Oh well. Can't have everything. We've got jump pack dreadnoughts. So yeah, and then Dave, this one I'm going to let you take a bit of a crack at. It's something we've seen before, and it's the new Knight Acastus. And I can't for the life of me remember what it's actually called, but it's the Acastus chassis, like the Porphyrin is, and it's got some sort of conversion beamer, twin conversion beamers or something like that.
Yep, and some dual Volkites in the shoulders.
Yeah, I just saw that.
And I believe it still has the missile launchers in the back carapace. I think those are going to be hopefully still going to be the same. I mean, different design style because the carapace is different, but supposedly those are going to be the same missiles. At least one of the options will be the same as what they already have. I'm hoping they're going to also have some alternative option up there. Just it wouldn't be as much fun if you get a Mechanicum variant and they don't also chuck in some weird slightly different Mechanicum missiles in the top.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably a pretty good guess that it'll get something special perhaps over the other one, just as another option here or there. But what do you guys think of it? I'm still not entirely sold on it. Like look wise, Like one of the things I really liked about the Porphyrin is obviously the guns aren't on its arms. It foregoes arms, and the guns were like straight to the torso, whereas this one's back to like a more traditional knight arrangement with like a shoulder and then like a mid arm with the gun where the hand and the wrist would be. And I'm not sure it suits it. Looks a bit sort of like ape-like.
Yeah, it's definitely a bold choice, and I think that is the fairest way to call it, because I think the outstanding part of the Porphyrion is that quality, the fact that it is essentially a gun ball on legs, and that is what makes it stand out against all the other knights. And by taking it this route compared to what it was, it does make this one, you know, a huge step away from what it was before. And, you know, it gives us some possibilities moving forward as far as, you know, changing out the weapons and weapon upgrades. And so I think to a certain extent that could be one of their thoughts in making this change. Just because the standard knight, the standard version of the Porphyrion, while it is fairly easy to magnetize if you know what you're doing, it's probably one of the easiest models to magnetize, in my opinion. Just the actual design of the model itself, it doesn't seem like they really put a lot of thought into the. I'm trying to think the best way to describe it. Like if you're a novice when it comes to magnetizing things, it can be a little intimidating because you don't know how to fill that hole in the chassis. You don't know how to do this or that. So doing something like this where, okay, I can just get this model and glue
do it at the joins and
exactly just like all the plastic versions. So I think that could be a component of it, especially if they decide to do a different weapon option to it. But I don't know that they will, because they don't tend to do that with a lot of the variants, because they're kind of like one and done with the variants for the most part. But
yeah, especially the bigger sort of stuff. Yeah,
they could surprise us. But I think for the most part, this is just they wanted to do something different. They wanted to do something that's going to be aesthetically, just kind of a big outstanding model. And I think they just figured they'd try something weird. And you're right, it's very much kind of guerrilla-ish. But I also think this could potentially be something that I have kind of been clamoring for a while. I've wanted to see a close combat version of this model. I've personally been working with a 3D designer to come up with some melee arms for this bad boy. Exactly like what you said. I've always pictured the Porphyrion as there's I can't remember one of the titles, but with like the default knight design, there are certain special titles for your barons, and I think there's like 5 or 6 of them, and one of them is like the gatekeeper. So I've always just kind of pictured a Porphyrion, but with big jacked up gorilla style arms and like a giant lance and a big massive maybe twice or just as big as a Porphyrion style boarding shield, big old plate shield, and just massive fuck off gorilla style arms. And with what they've done here, it's doable. Clearly, that's something that they could do if they wanted to. But back to this design, I like it. The only thing I'm not a fan of is the head. I'm not a big fan of like just the skull design that they've done.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I just don't know. Like, the other thing is, because of the size of the model, it's going to be incredibly expensive. But I just don't know that I would, if I was going to buy a Porphyrion or one of these, I think the Porphyrion's just a more pleasing model.
Agreed.
For me, I think it's a bit more special. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one. But no, it's cool to have more options.
It's definitely more of an appeal to the Mechanicum specific guys.
Yeah, no, that's it. There is something much more Mechanicum about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm probably the wrong person to talk to. I don't really like the Porphy, mostly because I'm a Lucius Patton Warhound kind of fanboy all the way
It's
down
not
to the ground.
boxy enough.
Well, number one, boxy enough.
So you're blasphemer.
Yeah, that's right. 100%.
Oh. Is this going to be like a replay of like the Mars schism here in a minute between you two?
Pretty
Oh
much.
no. Like if we're talking Lucius pattern and we're talking warlords, oh fuck yeah, dude. Like I'm with you 100%. Let's go dig that shit back up. But I'm just when it comes to the smaller ones, I'm just not as big of a fan. Like to each their own though. Like at least we're talking Titans.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
But my biggest problem with the Porphy was always that it just felt like a cheaper Warhound with double turbo lasers. You know what I mean? And so this just feels like a cheaper Warhound with 2 conversion beamers, or 4 conversion beamers. I would love to
it's kind
variant. That feels like it would be different enough that I would 100% back. Like I'd back that Kickstarter.
Ooh.
It would come with an enamel pin.
Yeah, that's right. I'd love a good enamel pin with my Kickstarters.
Speaking of Kickstarters.
Yep. Did we just lose Dave?
No, I'm still here.
Oh.
So speaking of Kickstarter, sorry.
Oh yeah, I just didn't want to like derail the whole conversation like I've been doing since I got on here. But I was just like, I was hoping Andrew was going to chime in with like, oh yeah, I've seen what Mordian's been
doing. Are you talking about the giant Stork tank?
Yeah, the replacement for the Baneblade.
Yep. Yeah, no. So if you want to take a look at that, it's the Mortain tanks that were once upon a time the giant Lehman Russ variants that got released probably like 8 or 9 years ago now, and he's been back a few times to Kickstarter. And if you look him up on Facebook, and it's Mortain, Mortain, I think, or Mortain Tanks. He's a German chap. He's just released a super heavy walking crab tank with a whole lot of variety of different turrets. So you could basically make all your Baneblade chassis variants using a giant walking tank. So like if you're a big Chaos player or an AdMech player, you just want something different, it's pretty cool. The only thing I will mention is it is quite pricey. Like especially for us Australians, I think it's significantly more expensive than buying a Baneblade. Is the only thing, but no, it's a very nice model. And sadly, on that note, we probably have to leave it there. We're sort of the Australians are deep into the 1:30 in the morning territory, and my daughter is in the process of my youngest is in the process of waking up wanting some food next to me. So I think that'll be our report on most of the stuff from Warhammer Fest. And I think later this week we'll try and cut another episode, and we can sort of have a bit of a chat about all the AOS and Warcry that's come out. And obviously, Dave, if you're around, would love to have you on.
I would love to actually, make the appointment like I scheduled. So I apologize to you guys.
No, not at all.
To the fan base, I've been begging Andrew to make time for me to get on, and I was up and awake at like 7:30 this morning, and I was like, let's do this. And I laid back down for like 10 minutes, and I woke up an hour and a half later.
Yeah, no, we'll get it. And it happens to the best of us, mate. So no, all good. Thank you very much for being here. Doug, thank you for jumping on with sort of only a moment's notice. As we were saying at the beginning, we both kind of forgot it was Warhammer Fest this weekend.
Yes.
Because we're fucking on point with our knowledge at the moment. So I hope everybody's enjoyed this. Please let us know what your thoughts are. Hit us up, message us on our Facebook page at the Loaded Dice Podcast. You can send us emails, theloadeddicecast@gmail.com. And you can find us on Instagram. We don't have a Twitter. We're never going to have a Twitter, so stop asking. So we've got that. And if you're looking for a Southern Hemisphere commission painter, please check out Doug and Brush with Destiny Studios. And if you're looking for somebody in the Northern Hemisphere, please check out Dave's studio, Invested Painting. Anything else you guys want to add? Anybody you want to shout out before we end this for the night?
if you guys are in the United States and in the Midwest section of the U.S. and you're interested in participating in some fantastic 30K narrative gaming, we've got the Taking the Fearix campaign kicking off soon. I don't know when the episode's going to come out, but May 24th through the 26th, we've got the Steps of Perdition in Kansas City, Missouri. Tickets, I believe, after you pay, because they like the overall fee for everything, I think is like $45 after the con badge and the actual like event cost. 2 days of actual scheduled gaming. The first day is a Friday, and we're going to have the table set up for open gaming. We're going to have an apocalypse game that night. It's fantastic. Come check us out. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/Fearix30K. And then our follow-up event is going to be June 21st through the 23rd at Wichita, Kansas. And that is going to be our Act 2 event. Fantastic time. And again, just come have some fun, get some games in, and enjoy yourselves.
No, very, very cool. And if you flick me those links over, I'll pop them up on our page and people can find them. Instead of rewinding and trying to write out Facebook URLs, we'll happily share those up there for you, Dave. Awesome. And 100%, if I could drop everything I'm doing and fly back to Kansas and hang out and eat sushi in Kansas with you, I would definitely be doing that.
You should do it. Bring the kids. Bring the wife. We'll make room.
Doug, any shout-outs for you? Anything?
Real quick, we've been going long enough that the Hobbit seminar stuff has dropped. And there's a build-your-own Hobbit hole that they're releasing.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah, keep an eye on that. I guess more when we record the next episode and we actually do the Hobbit stuff, but looks cool. I have nothing else going on, so I just thought I'd talk about more stuff.
Mad. All right, guys. Love your work. We'll see you all next episode. Have a better evening.
Good night.
Later, guys.